This is Derana 24/7.
Pirates flee, leaving 8 Sri Lankan crew unharmed. Survivors thank government for rescue support. Bangladesh take lead over Sri Lanka in their 100th test. Australia Anglican Church apologizes over child abuse. Good evening and a warm welcome. This is your news at 9 and I'm Indivri Amwat. We take a look at your top stories making news tonight. Oil tanker Aris 13 and 8 Sri Lankan crew held captive by Somali pirates since Monday were released last night. The captain of the ship, S.A. Nicholas, spoke to Derana and confirmed that they were unharmed and safe in Somali town of Bazaso.
The oil tanker Aris 13 carrying 8 Sri Lankan crew was en route from Djibouti to Mogadishu when it was hijacked by Somali pirates. The ship was then docked off the coast of Puntland, a semi-autonomous region situated on the Horn of Africa. A rescue mission was launched by a combined task force deployed by the Combined Maritime Force headquarters of Bahrain, and international media reported that an exchange of fire took place. Residents living in close proximity to where the vessel was being held had said to Reuters that 4 civilians were injured by stray bullets. President Maithripala Sirisena instructed the commander of Sri Lankan Navy to rescue the captives in coordination with the armed forces of Somalia and Bahrain. Amid the battle, the captain of the ship, S.A. Nicholas, spoke to Derana last evening and said that the lives of the crew were in danger as a result of the live fire. The captain also said to Derana that over 70 pirates were on board and demanding a ransom for their release. He requested the Sri Lankan government to call for a halt to the firing. Accordingly, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Dr. Harsha De Silva contacted representatives of the Somali government and took steps to put an end to the exchange of fire. Subsequently, armed forces, including the Somali Coast Guard, were able to secure the ship along with its crew at around 9 o'clock in the night yesterday.
At that moment, there was nothing they could do. A special commando unit was involved in the mission. The unit did not board the ship or kill anyone, but surrounded the ship by boats and opened fire. When they started firing, so did the pirates. There was an exchange of fire between them, and the pirates used us as a shield. But at about 9 p.m., the pirates became alarmed by the response they received. They understood that they could perish along with us if they held on to the ship. So they took the goods in the ship and fled. We are aware that the President, Foreign Minister Mangala Samarveera, Derana all supported us immensely. Let's talk about this back in Sri Lanka.
This is reported to be the first commercial vessel to have been attacked by Somali pirates since 2012. Meanwhile, the Aris 13 vessel and the Sri Lankan crew were escorted to Bosaso in Puntland by a French warship and a few Somali Navy vessels today. Relatives of the rescued crew expressed their relief and happiness regarding this latest development.
I'm so happy that they are free. Everyone helped, especially Derana, who came promptly as soon as they discovered the story. The armed forces, foreign ministry, the president, the prime minister, all helped to free them. I thank you on behalf of all 8 of the crew.
The United Arab Emirates-based company which owns the ship stated that the crew will arrive in Sri Lanka on Sunday.
Meanwhile, the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs expressed views regarding the incident today at a media briefing in Colombo, attended by families of the sailors aboard Aris 13.
This is a semi-autonomous region called Puntland. We immediately contacted President Gas and requested them to cease firing. After some time, we received news from the vessel that the shooting halted. He told us that once the vessel reaches the port, they will check the health condition of the Sri Lankans, provide medicine if they need any, and let the vessel sail on. We'd like to thank President Gas of Puntland, his Chief of Staff, Abdul Hazir, and especially the United States of America and the US Ambassador to Sri Lanka, Atul Keshap.
කෙසප් මැතිතුමා වහාම ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා අපිට ඒ අවශ්‍ය පහසුකම් ලබා දුන්නා.
Will the Sri Lankans return to the country?
The ship will reach the Bosaso port. We contacted them a few minutes ago.
Is there any precautionary measures the government can take to minimize such incidents?
There are convoys running in the Gulf of Aden and Suez and then the Gulf Strait of Hormuz. The ships, if they want to go in area that they think are suspected for piracy attacks, they can join those convoys. Other than that, you have the security sea marshals on board ships.
So do you say they violated ethics?
Violated, but then there are best practices.
In the meantime, Ada Derana spoke to some of the sailors' relatives who attended the media briefing.
I feel lot of things to what shall I do with my daughter. I don't know how I explain. Now I'm not happy, but I'm little bit happy than yesterday.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa says destabilizing local maritime security service providers such as Avantgarde Security could only pose difficulty when re-establishing such organizations. The former president said this after attending a religious ceremony to mark the 9th memorial of late Speaker of Parliament Anura Bandaranaike at the Vijayananda Pirivana in Nittambur last evening.
It does not matter who the owner of the organization is. Its employees were retired soldiers who had fought against terrorists. They have stopped this 100%. At all times, they provided security for 150 vessels. Someone said we have to organize internationally, but it is not something to be organized internationally. This is a local organization that provides security to the country. But by removing this, the country is losing billions in money. If there are changes, they can file them, but when they are disrupting the work of organizations like these, it takes a long time to re-establish such organizations. I'm not surprised. It is reduced even from the army. Recently, there was major talk that someone was attempting to murder Sumantiran. They tried to show that we had not done rehabilitation work properly. Now they are saying that we do not need rehabilitation and have begun fighting for the release of all. We may face unexpected situations by removing military camps and through demilitarization.
And 2 persons, including a woman, have been apprehended over the recent shooting of a prison bus in Kalutara, which left 7 dead. The pair have been arrested on allegations of aiding the gunmen, who remain at large.
The Criminal Investigation Department has apprehended a woman in Wallahandua, Gaul, for allegedly providing refuge to a suspect. Another resident in Pinwatta Panudura was also apprehended last night after the police discovered his involvement in spying on the incident. Police say that the main suspects identified in connection with the shooting have fled their residences. 5 investigation teams have been deployed under the supervision of Deputy Inspector General Nandana Munasinghe, while CID and STF officials have been appointed to investigate the incident under a special order of the Inspector General of Police. 2 police teams have been deployed to oversee immigration at the Katunaika and Mattala international airports due to information received about the plans of several suspects to flee the country. Measures are also in place to prevent the suspects leaving the country by boat.
Legal action has been taken against 30 stores found to be selling counterfeit spare parts for vehicles in Panchikavat. The scam was unveiled after an inspection was conducted in the area by officials of the Consumer Affairs Authority.
Several fraudulent acts committed by the stores were brought to light, including falsely labeling the vehicle parts as products of other countries such as Germany and Japan, while they had been manufactured in China, and selling certain products without a fixed stated price. According to the Ministry of Industry and Commerce, several of the counterfeit items have been taken into custody by officials and will be presented to court along with the vendors.
Welcome back. President Maithripala Sirisena says the Right to Information Act and Audit Act are transformative changes in the government monetary management. The president made these comments addressing an event held at the Nelumpokana Theatre in Colombo today.
We have already implemented some of the laws and regulations in government services and other political fields, including government and non-government organizations. Some of them are in preparation to be implemented. I consider the Right to Information Act and Audit Act as important transformations in the government and government monetary management. I especially consider governing of the state, public service, morals, discipline and transparency to be necessary features for the betterment of society. The reasons for delaying and neglection of the development process is due to the lack of coordination between government officers and politicians. Defects in the meetings of the Provincial Development Committee, District Development Committee and monthly progress review meetings broadly affect the country's development. The money allocated to some organizations is returned at the end of the year.
As Sri Lankan roads get smoother and flyovers rise higher, there are still places in the country where citizens are forced to take risks due to the lack of basic modes of transport. This is a story of how people of 5 villages risks their lives daily for the lack of much needed bridges across the Kalu River.
Residents of Thalahitiya, Delgoda, Pathakada, Yatawara and Begamo villages located in the Kaluthuru district all share a common inconvenience. Thebuana, on the far bank of the Kalu River, is the nearest town that villagers could reach for basic amenities. This is also where children of these villages go to school. The shortest route to the Thebuana town by road is as long as 12 kilometers. However, the opposite bank is only less than 300 meters away via ferry. Without any safety precautions, young and old alike brave a voyage to the opposite bank on an old, dilapidated ferry.
The river was flooding and the current was strong. When we were carrying goods to the opposite bank, the ferry suddenly sank.
Even though these long-suffering villagers have been appealing for help to authorities and government institutions, their plight remains unresolved.
Expressways are being built in this country, but we still have no bridges. Politicians from every government came and promised us a bridge, but they were all empty promises.
Do you know what social justice is? If you agree that village children should have equal chances for education, socialization and extra activities just as city children do, I appeal to you to grant us a bridge.
It's time now to take a look at how the Colombo Stock Exchange performed today.
The benchmark all-share price index gained 19.27 points to close at 6,047.84, while the S&P Sri Lanka 20 index gained 4.5 points to close at 3,451.69. The turnover was 1.17 billion rupees, with 78.3 million shares changed in hands in 2,598 trades. Top 5 gainers of the day were SNB Leasing, Non-Voting, Asia Capital, East West Properties and Amanataka Full Life. Today's foreign purchases were 898.21 million rupees and foreign sales were 858.76 million rupees. There were 13 crossings today and the crossings turnover was 741.6 million rupees.
And in cricket, in the third day of the second test between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, the hosts were frustrated by a stubborn Bangladeshi low order, with Shakib Al Hasan scoring a 5th test century. Rangana Herath, however, was able to capture his 100th 1000th first-class wicket, making him the second Sri Lankan after Muthaiya Muralitharan to achieve the feat.
Shakib and Mushfiqur Rahim continued their sixth wicket stand from last evening, extending it to 90 before the Bangladeshi captain was bowled by Suranga Lakmal soon after the new ball was taken.
That's a great breakthrough.
However, Sri Lanka were unable to capitalise further on the new ball as Shakib and debutant Mossadegh Hussain put on 131 for the seventh wicket.
The nerves have disappeared.
Shakib fell for 116 before the tea interval, having seen Bangladesh into their second ever first innings lead away from home. Mehdi Hassan and Mustafizur then fell to Rangana Herat in successive deliveries, with the latter wicket marking Herat's 1000th first-class dismissal.
He's got his man. Well, that ball turned, and the Sri Lankan captain.
In tennis, Derana is through to his first ATP World Tour semi-final after saving 2 match points to deny Pablo Cuevas in 3 sets at Indian Wells yesterday. The Spaniard will face Stan Wawrinka in the semi-final as the Swiss beat Dominic Thiem to advance.
The Spaniard took the first set with ease against Pablo Cuevas, but the Uruguayan recovered to win the second set and seemed to be on the brink of victory in the third. Cuevas had 2 match points on Carreño Busta's serve, but the 21st seed held on to force a tiebreak where he triumphed 6-1, 3-6, 7-6 after 2 hours in the desert sun. With a semi-final date booked between Carreño Busta and Stan Wawrinka, the quarterfinals on the other side of the draw are between Roger Federer and Nick Kyrgios and Jack Sock and Kei Nishikori.
In your world news, Australia's Anglican Church says it is sad and ashamed after revelations emerged that more than 1,000 people fled child sexual assault claims against the institution over the past 35 years. Today's apology comes after the Royal Commission into Child Abuse published its report.
The interim report said most children were aged around 11 when they were abused, and that complaints identified 569 Anglican clergy, teachers and volunteers as alleged abusers. There were another 133 alleged abusers whose roles at the church were not known.
We are ashamed to acknowledge that we only took notice when the survivors of abuse became a threat to us.
A previous report published by the inquiry last month said the Catholic Church had paid compensation to about 3/4 of complainants.
A security sniffer dog, which escaped its leash and grounded flights at Auckland Airport, has been shot dead by police. Authorities said the 10-month-old crossbreed called Grizz could not be captured after it ran off. The incident grounded 16 flights and caused delays for several hours.
Aviation security spokesman Mike Richards said that Grizz was getting into a dog unit wagon parked in the airport's public landside area when something caused it to escape. 16 domestic and international flights were delayed for safety reasons at the nation's busiest airport, while the dog was on the loose for about 3 hours, according to airport officials who finally ordered police to shoot Grizz. Flights from the airport have since returned to schedule, but reactions in New Zealand and on social media to the incident have been furious.
On to your weather report for tomorrow. Showers or thunder showers may occur at a few places in the western, central and Sabaragamuwa provinces and in the Galle and the Mathura districts during the afternoon time. There may be temporarily localized strong winds during thunder showers. General public is advised to take adequate precautions to minimize damages caused by lightning activity. This is a look at your city-by-city forecast for tomorrow. And that's all we have on your primetime news at 9. For the very latest, you can log on to www.adaderana.lk. And before we go, we leave you with visuals and highlights from the Colombo Fashion Week.
Bringing you the news and information 24 hours a day. This is Sri Lanka's premier news channel, Adaderana 24/7.